Too high. Hey, Abe, welcome. I know we've been talking for a while, but it's finally glad to get on a conversation here because I think our listeners can learn so much from you. Thanks for coming on.
Hopefully, I'm grateful to be here,
Yeah.
and I'm excited to have a conversation. So let's see where this goes.
Yes. For those who don't know, Abe Dats is a visionary marketer, founder, and strategist with a relentless curiosity and passion for turning bold ideas into powerful brands. As head of marketing and investor relations at Doni Aerospace, Abe is helping lead the charge in bringing electric vertical takeoff and landing aircrafts to life, shaping the future of personal mobility. That sounds absolutely incredible. So we have so much to talk about. I guess the first thing I would ask is for those who don't know, uh, explain to me what Doni Aerospace is trying to achieve and why it hasn't been achieved yet.
It's a great question to start with. Um, so the Doni Aerospace is basically trying to do what every kid has dreamt since they were born. We all sit in traffic and we all want to fly. And we all dreamt about having a car that flies. It's very practical. When I was a kid, every time we went to our grandparents from Brooklyn to upstate New York, and we were sitting in traffic, sweating, and all I was dreaming about is a flying car. Hopefully, one day we could just take off, and you see all the books and all the movies talking about flying cars. Um, but Deroni actually was born in 2017 with the founder, Doron Merdinger, um, a visionary technologist, designer, that realized that the drone industry um, at that point has been taking extreme leap in advancement in advancements in the drone industry, and
Right.
it was like, oh, now we finally have a propulsion system that actually makes sense to have a practical flying car
Hmm.
that would be easy to use. Right? The problem is really with the flying cars, we didn't really have a practical, sustainable, cost-effective, and easy to use technology to be able to do that, to integrate it in our daily life. Was jet engines would be
Right.
very expensive, very high maintenance, won't be so compacted. You didn't have vertical takeoff, and it would be it just didn't, the technology was wasn't there to make something that you can park in your backyard and will cost, a few $100,000.
Right.
But the drone technology actually showed that
Less
you
than a
can.
Lamborghini, might I say?
Yes, less and more, but the value, like I always say,
Right.
like you brought it up, it's like I don't care which car you drive in, but your traffic, you're going to be sitting in traffic. So
Right.
you can't buy your way out of traffic. Besides, besides now,
Right. So
this
Elon Musk tried to change the area in which you drive in by making tunnels or going down, and you're kind of saying, "Hey, let's go up."
yeah, that too, and I mean that is also a good idea. Um, I was in Las Vegas. It was really cool, but I think flying, like, why do we want to go down darker in the world? Why don't we
Right.
go up and actually see the world from just like the birds, like they see the world from all different angles. It's beautiful. If you ever took a helicopter ride, you ever, stood on a skyscraper in downtown Miami and you see it, it's amazing. Imagine flying to work that way. Life would just be so much more fun, so much more
Yeah. It
enjoyable.
seems so futuristic, and it's always been just 15 years away. I think they've been talking about flying cars way before anything, and it's one of the only things that really, like AI and the advancements of computers and all the things that seemed futuristic 40, 50, 60 years ago have come to life, and there's nothing impressive about it in the sense that it's a completely natural part of our life. I think one of the only things that never came to fruition was flying cars.
Correct. So and this is the funny part. This is what I tell all our investors all the time. Like, we're not worried about selling the vehicle. It's more about bringing it to market. Because for everybody, flying cars it's the solution is so simple, yet it's the most complicated thing to bring to market, right? And still we don't have
Doesn't
it.
it bring a whole slew of logistical issues? Because now you have a Z index, right? Normally you have a 2D plane and you can account for safety and you can have safety protocols and security protocols with regular driving cars. But now that you're in the air, it can bring all sorts of problems. You can, where you can just drive into someone's apartment, high up and all different sorts of issues that can
Why
come
don't
from.
we? Why don't we? The only reason you see that as a problem is because number one, you're not used to the aerospace, you're not a pilot. Number two, you're so used to the car industry that you don't see that. You know, how many, if you really go
Correct.
back and how many problems have
It's
happened
just
with
a
cars?
new it's just an untouched way of thinking. You know, the same way we kind of had all these problems with seeing electric cars, they can never happen. So many problems, so many this, so many that, and now it's a completely natural part of our life.
Yeah.
I agree. You know, what's
And we don't
unknown
see the
is
downside of
scary.
cars. Not to cut you off, but like
Yeah.
when you drive a car, there's 100 things that go wrong, but somehow I mean, there's accidents, and it's normal. Oh, you see
Right.
accidents every day. I see accidents on the 95 driving to work. There's every day, not one,
Mm.
not two, not three, and it just became okay. There's an accident. I'm sitting in traffic. It became a part of our life. But like I was sitting today actually with a test pilot, Charles. He flew over 14,000. I was sitting down with him to really go into like the depths of the regulatory understanding, how things work in air. And after walking out, like all my questions, I'm like, and he was just for him it was so like I asked him, where can I take off? Where can we land? Where can we do all these different things? Not that I didn't know these answers, but we were going over a project to like conform things and with the new rules and everything just to get more clarity. And for him it was like, yeah, this is like so basic. So I'm like, so what do you do when you want to fly forward? Is just look out and just what do you do when you drive?
Right.
Like it for most people it's so now it's like all they're used to is like flying on a plane. But
Yeah.
when you really break it down, it's so much easier, so much simpler than creating
So
roads.
it sounds like your challenges are a little unique in the sense that your challenges is not necessarily making a car. The technology's there. It's just an engineering pursuit. There's nothing really innovative. It's more about bridging that gap between the stigma behind flying cars or people's perception of how dangerous flying cars might be and actually getting them to say, hey, listen, this is probably just as safe as a regular car. And, you know, maybe there's an argument to make that it's even safer.
Yeah. So that it's that, and of course, it's the fundraising and getting people on board that this can happen. And I think some people are far, either they don't want it to happen, it's either that they don't want it to happen, or they just can't see that happening. But so listen, I'm doing this for 3 years. When I started 3 years ago, people like you crazy, like with the like flying cars, and now it's like it's happening. Now it's not the
Yeah.
question if it's happening,
If
it's the
it's
question
when.
is when, right?
How far along the journey are you right now?
I am in 3 years. I invested first in the company that I joined them. Um, but the
In terms
CEO
of the first car being launched into the public market, like how far along the journey are you currently as a company?
of the company is about 9 years in.
Nice. And
9 years in, and so we have another 2 years. So building any aircraft, anything flying, anybody would tell you it's a 10-year process. It's
right.
like there's no getting anything in the air is going to take you 10 years. Designing it, it's very aerospace is not a car. A
Mm,
car, you just put a body, four wheels,
right.
drive it, push it down a hill or something. It's easy. But putting something in the air, it's a lot more
Yeah.
complicated, especially making it cost effective. But thankfully now it's becoming a lot easier with the new technology that we have. Electric cars were the stepping stone between cars and flying cars, the
Mm.
batteries, combining with the drone industry. So there's a
So
lot of technology that,
is it a quadcopter propulsion system? Is that
yeah,
how oh,
it's a
very cool.
quadcopters, 8 vertical um, props, then two forward
Oh, it's
pushers.
clockwise.
So
Eight top, two in the back. Very
two in
cool.
the back. So we want to go up vertically. We don't want to tilt. We don't want to make anybody used to want to be very comfortable. So go up vertically. And then, first of all, the the props are inducted fans that are embedded in a wing. So there's actually wings. So when you go vertically, when you
You can get
want to go
lift to
forward,
save energy. Yeah.
you save energy first of all for the wings, and also you're avoiding any tilting rotors. So you can just go vertically, and the back pushers will push you forward on the wings, and it's a very smooth. The idea is now with this technology and our design, unique design that Doni has versus anyone else, we really took into account the user experience of how this is actually going to work and how this is actually going to integrate in our daily lives. So ducted fans and closed blades, we don't want to be open, we don't want to scare people, we want to make everything seamless, comfortable, and we don't want to scare people. meaning our
Right.
design. A lot of designs, remember, when I was introduced to drone, I looked into all the other companies, had these open blades that had like tilting rotors, like when you're in the air, you don't want to have any of these things happening. You just want to feel like you're flying on a cloud. You don't want anything tilting or turning.
How high are you going? Like what would you
We're gonna hang
recommend
out
that
by the
area?
thousand, about 1,000 foot, thousand.
Right. That's not very high. I mean, that's
Not very high.
yeah.
We don't. You still want to be engaged in it. We don't want to go above you want to
Right,
see
right,
it.
right.
So I think 1,000, 1,500 feet.
Very cool.
Um, yeah, the regulations, as people know,
So
depending where
so
you are, and we're
so if
basically building like there is going to be regulations, but the Ronnie's going to build like a layer on top of the regulations that is actually going to make it simple for you on when to do what. Because
right.
regulations, okay, this area, so you go into a area space of an airport that needs you to communicate with them. It will come up, call them, or send a message, whatever,
Mhm.
and we'll show you like all the vehicles in the area. We'll let you know which altitude to go, how far, when to start landing. It will give you everything. Like
Mm.
we're gonna make it so simple that all you got to do, click start, hold the joystick, and go. So that's really, and to get to that level is takes a lot of time, and technology's only been available only the past few years. So many AI, battery, drone technology, carbon fiber innovation, like parachute. Like if you can go through all the technology, we didn't have that 10 years ago.
Right.
So it's only really possible now. So once we can have it out there, I tell everybody, we won't even need to sell it. We will have a problem of making enough of them.
Right. So
That's
so
that's what I
so have you ever heard of something called the weight equation? You might have heard of it in a different, formulated slightly different, but the
no, I
weight
haven't.
equation is when we're looking into space and we can use our rocket we have today to go into our closest star system. It'll take us X amount of years, right? But if we wait 10 years, we're going to have so much better technology that it'll take us half the time to get there, right? So the question becomes, it's called the weight equation. When is the sweet spot of waiting before you decide to take off because of the advancement of technology? So I would imagine that you're kind of might be in a similar situation where you say, hey, with the technology we have today with batteries and drones, we're going to start building the technology. We're going to start building the infrastructure. And then 5 years later, you go, hey, it's time to remove certain modules because we have much more efficient modules at a cheaper price. And
Right.
then you find yourself never able to get to the finish line because you're constantly going back and having to reevaluate what you can do with the quick and hyperbolic advancement of
Right.
technology. And I feel like you guys must be having some sort of issue like you must be experiencing that to some capacity.
Yeah, so that was actually taken into account because we know, and we're already working on behind the scenes a lot of technologies, but we know it's not going to be here for the next 5 to 10 years. So what we did in our design, we really thought, how can we build a frame that we can switch things out?
Mm,
We can make it more reusable, meaning we're not just like a Tesla battery, for example. The battery is the car. So if you want a new battery, you got to get a new car. So we designed, for example, the battery in a way that there are modules that you can switch them out.
right.
So new
Plug and
battery,
play. Right.
so like the motors, like our frame is the frame. It's the best aerodynamic frame, right? Okay, maybe over time there'll be more advancements. Okay, we'll have newer models. That's what always happens, right? Every car goes,
Right.
there's new models every 2 years, every year, whatever. But more or less, the frame is designed that everything will be plug and play. The motors, the batteries, and think about it, it's electric. There's not much to the vehicle.
Right.
It's like the shell, the actual what's it called again? Um, Monocoque. It's like a monocoque, a racing car design, lightweight carbon fiber monocoque. And yeah, everything else. So this is how we're designing it from now because we know the props there will be better props, there will be better parachutes, there'll be better. Everything will advance. So we're already thinking the H1X design has taken that into account, and yeah, we're constantly looking to improve. And
Very cool.
now
Very cool.
it's going to take another 2 3 years, but it's worth the work.
Right.
I always say you put in 10 years to make this happen, but you're changing mobility for the next 200-300 years to come.
Of
So
course. I mean, that's how,
yeah,
the farther you look back, I mean, the longer the projects take. So I have a question for you, Maybe.
yeah.
How does a from Yid from Borough Park enter the flying car industry? How did that happen? Because it's not, I wouldn't say that doesn't happen every day in the from community.
Very interesting. Because I'm very not the typical guy.
Hmm.
I'm not a college graduate or anything.
Right.
I was actually the kid that was always, out of the classroom. I was never in the classroom, so I was really different. Like I barely knew how to read when growing up. I mean, Hebrew because I was never in class. Like,
Right.
um, but I did always have big ideas and always dreamt. I had a lot of time to dream. Like I wasn't in class, so I just like roaming and looking and thinking and drawing and whatever.
Well, let me ask you a question. Why do you think you didn't enjoy or want to be in class?
I don't know. I don't believe that humans are supposed to be perfect from the day they grow.
Right. But
And,
why do you felt like
well,
class wasn't for you, that you felt the need to skip
I
it? You
don't
find
think
it
the class was
boring? Do
for
you not
me.
enjoy it?
I just didn't feel comfortable sitting for 3 hours straight in the class
Hmm.
and learning. It wasn't that I didn't like. I just the way that you were supposed to sit like straight in the desk and
Right.
follow all the not following the rules. It was like I don't know. I just
It's the
didn't sit.
formalities, the order, the structure, and you kind of like something a little more
I was
wild and
I was looking for
unexpected.
more than just they taught us in class.
Right.
Yes, I mean it was all good stuff like basics, but for me it was like I don't know. I don't know. I can't really tap really like the
It's
ones.
hard. It's hard to do that. It's not always easy to like look back and say,
I just
understand your behavior.
didn't. I just wanted to like not sit straight.
Right, right. And then so and you know so tell me, what you finished yeshiva, I imagine.
But no, I finished um elementary. I went to yeshiva for 3 years. Got kicked out from the first super religious
And
yeshiva,
this is all in Borough Park, right?
Bolivar Park.
Hmm.
Then I went to more Mountaindale, more like a more of a more open-minded, like mixed, like some to see the Shamlish, but more. It was actually a great yeshiva upstate.
Hmm.
Actually enjoyed, but I also got kicked out from there. Um, I think it wasn't bad. I just
I felt like you just weren't. I mean, we tend to do things we like doing, and I feel like you just didn't. You weren't curiously satisfied.
I
I
wasn't
mean,
curiously satisfied with what they taught. Um,
so then this
I
yeshiva
really
doesn't work out.
I didn't believe that life is just about learning and learning and learning, and I
Right,
was just like, what am I doing?
right.
More than there was no depth. It was all like very like okay, say this, do that.
Right.
It didn't
And you
satisfy
felt
me.
like a penguin, like just a white shirt, black pants, in a
Yeah, I
herd,
mean, even then
following
when
the
I was able
rules.
to change, but then I only changed because of not wearing the white.
Right.
So,
But then what
oh,
happened? So you're married, right?
yeah, I got married at 18.
That's
Yeah,
absolutely crazy.
yeah,
So you come out of yeshiva, whatever, it doesn't work out. Then so imagine you got married
yeah,
somewhere soon after, and
yeah.
then you're like, is it time to get serious now? Or I mean, what the?
I don't think I knew what really is happening in my life. Like I was just got married. I found a great girl. Thank God.
Yeah.
My wife is amazing. I got very lucky that I met her young. So, you know, I'm 24 now, and a lot of people I got one good, so I'm very happy. But at that period of time, I was
Well, I
just
mean, you had to get serious pretty quickly. I mean, getting
I'm
married at
taking it
18 is
serious.
getting
Uh,
married at 18. You might not realize this because you only have one example in life, but there's a certain sense of seriousness when whenever you have to worry about someone else, whether it's kids or a wife. You change as a person very quickly because you're no longer just thinking about yourself, and you have to think about parnasa. You have to think about making money, and you can't f around because you don't have the luxury to do that anymore. So believe it or not, people don't change that quickly at 18. People don't get their
yeah.
serious cap on, sometimes even for 10, 20 years later.
Right.
So that probably did more than you realize.
So yes, but you get to know me. I'm not a super. I don't take
Like,
stress much. Like I don't
hmm,
get.
that's really good.
I don't like, and it's a good thing and a bad thing in certain times.
Right.
Sometimes it works for my advantage, sometimes, but like Yes, I
I
got
can't I
married.
can't relate to that. That's one thing
Yeah,
I can't relate
it's
to.
for me it was normal. Like, getting married, like all my siblings got married. My father got married at 18. My grandfather, even
uh,
they weren't my father became religious. My father wasn't, but he got married young. My grandfather wasn't even religious, anything affiliated. Like, and he got married at
mm,
like 20. Like, it was right in my family. I was tall. I was 18. I looked like I was 25 already.
uh.
So I was already working, and I was
Then how did you come across? Did you have a job in between Doroni, or did you just?
yeah. So I started once I left school. I started my father in the e-commerce business. My father was selling on Amazon, so I learned how to sell on
Mm,
Amazon. And I started dabbling into building brands on Amazon, learning how to like from a product to get it to market, brand it, and
very
start
cool.
selling it.
Very
So,
important life stuff that you generally don't learn in school.
yeah. But it's funny, like I didn't know how to write emails at that point, but I somehow figured out how
But
to
you're
do
a
this.
smart guy, so that stuff you can figure out, right? So like in school, here's the thing about school: like you learn a bunch of theory, it's a bunch of abstract stuff, and then when you go into the real world, you still need to relearn stuff on your own. Um, but they don't teach you in school really how to make. They don't teach you how to hustle. They don't teach you how to be aggressive. They don't teach you how to really compete in the market,
But
and that stuff you learn, right, with someone who loves
but
you, like your dad.
I'm very afraid to tell people to do what I do. I did because like I'm not that I'm special or anything. I just
There
had
is.
I just had a I just had life happen to me,
Mhm.
and I feel like a lot of people that don't know how to live without structure. Most people need to have structure, right? Need to
Right,
have like a
I agree with
system.
that.
They don't like if you don't give people
The
a
schooling
system,
system is great for many people.
but
Really
most
good. Yeah,
most people won't function without a school.
correct.
It's a good system. Like it's good for who it works. People
Yeah.
go against it. Not everybody can go without. People need it. There's certain people they just need.
It's also a distraction, school or not. If you have a personality that wants to achieve stuff, and it doesn't matter if you went to school or not, and if someone wants to find success in life, they'll find it one way or the other. It's more of a genetic or an inherent trait than it is something that you're gifted with by going to the schooling system.
Yeah, and you can learn a lot of friends, your connections, your
Right.
my close friends are people from my kids from school. Like if I wouldn't go to like, but everybody has their own. That's why I say like everybody has their own journey, and they gotta. If you find yourself outside of the system or whatever, the problem is that it became like if you don't even go to school, like fit like
Right.
no, you could
But
be
you're
very
also in debt. If you do go to school and you get a communications degree, and
right.
then you're in debt $120,000 and you spend 6 years paying that back
So
plus
I've
interest,
never been on that side of the coin, but
it's
I can
not,
tell you.
it's you're still in a hole there as well.
You're always
Yeah.
going to be in the hole because even building yourself, in my experience, I'm not going to say anybody else's experience. You're always going into business. You're going to have that learn. You're going to have these failures that are going to set you back, and they're going to teach you valuable lessons. So it's you can look at it both ways.
Right.
You're going to be somewhere in debt. So the question is really what you do after. Like it's it, every scenario, it's not about what you did before. It's what do you do with it, right? You go
Right.
through a struggle. What do you do with a struggle? Like you can get and be sad about it and suffer from it, or you can use it and
Exactly.
I became stronger. So
Exactly.
a lot of people I know, entrepreneurs, my mentors, these are people that went through the schooling system. They went through, but they came out. They used what they learned in order to build a business,
Right.
right? So it really
And I agree with you 100%.
so
There's, yeah.
I don't think like it's all about a mindset that people have to learn. It's like I'm going to take what I got and what am I going to do with it? It's a my choice to do now. I left college. I'm not in college. I'm not in school. What are you going to do? Are you going to become now a dropout because I don't have a degree?
Right.
You're going to use that opportunity to go hustle and learn things outside of the box and learn faster than other people and be more curious and hustle more than a college kid because you have nothing to lose because
Right.
you, you know.
Yeah,
Or,
there's two different kinds of people, and it all comes down to how you handle adversity in life.
right,
Some people build walls from it, some people get scared of it, some people let it hurt them, and it affects their ability to, like a bad relationship. Some people will stop trusting people, or other people will just use the pain, catapult themselves forward, and use that pain as fuel to make themselves to turn themselves into a different person. And I agree with you 100%. It really comes down to two different kinds of people.
yeah, but I
Um,
think, yeah, the common denominator is what are you taking with forward, right? How do we move forward in life? Some
right,
people like they need to go through certain situations, and people go through very interesting. Let's forget about college and not going to college. This is like the least problems that people go through, right? People go through some real tough situations and decisions where the life can go either way. And it's
right,
always going to be, what are you going to choose moving forward, right? So the focus always needs to be on like building a mindset where you understand that I'm a lot more than my physical being, right? And
right.
my eternal self is going through experiences that I'm here to become better
Mm,
as a person. So right, so the famous line is we're not human beings, we're not people, we're not beings. We're not just here to be.
mm,
We're human becomings, really. We're here to become. So everything, every opportunity, everything, every interaction with every person, every situation that we perceive good or bad, we don't know what's good and bad. Let's be very clear on that. Like we perceive things good and bad,
right.
right? We don't know
Sometimes what's bad is good, and what's good is bad. Yeah, I agree.
the things that we perceive, and we need to look back and like, okay, I just experienced something. What is this coming to teach me?
Mm,
If you can put on that type of glasses, you'll be successful, no matter what your background is, no matter what you've done, because the people around you are going to like you because you're always going to be positive, right?
right,
You're going to not
right.
be afraid to say, like, you know what, I messed up. I apologize. I'm learning. We'll do next time better. I'm going to learn XYZ from this situation that happened, you know, and so on. The list goes on.
It's great that you observe that, because many people, even if they know that, it's very hard for them to act with that mentality. They can say it, but when they actually experience the emotions and they're going through that process, they don't always behave that way. So yeah, and just by hearing how you say it, I can feel like you've gone through a lot in life
Yeah.
to have developed that mentality.
Uh, it's Yeah, listen, when you go through situations, like every person at a certain point, and I was fortunate to go through when I'm young, is going to come to a point where you got to choose between life or death. Death doesn't necessarily mean dying, as you can live 100 years, but you're dead, right?
Right.
So there are people that go through some crazy situations, and they're going to choose to suffer the rest of their life because of this situation that happened. And then there will be people like, no, this situation happened. This is going to make me stronger, and I'm going to use this as a step stool to go to become more.
Hmm.
You can use this to become more. Um, how do we do that? That's a Listen. If you haven't, step one is to re, to train yourself young, and I think everybody should. And I wish I
Hmm.
would train myself younger. Before I had a experience happen that I'll talk in a minute.
Hindsight is always 2020.
Yeah, but I'm saying like today, if not today, then when? Right? That's a famous line.
Yeah.
From Perkov is from
Perik
our
Dalet, Mishnah Aleph.
you know I guess no. אין אני למילי שאני לעצמי.
I believe
No,
that's
that's not. That's Perik Aleph Mishnah Yid Beis or
no Perik Dalet. I'll bet you on that.
no,
uh,
maybe
Benzoma Omer.
no.
All right. Maybe
And
you're right. I apologize. Maybe I'm wrong here. I'll actually check that. So
okay, we'll check that. But it's
I thought it was
if I'm not for me,
yeah,
then who is? And if I'm only for me, then who am I, right? And
yeah.
if not now today. So I have to realize like if we're not going to stand up for ourselves, no one will. But we're
Mm,
only standing up for ourselves, then who are we?
right.
Because we're supposed to be a balance of we're here for our self understanding that
Yeah.
I'm who I am, and I'm special. Every person, I have certain abilities, but don't get to a place where it becomes an ego,
Correct.
right? And
Yeah.
Atmi, and it says with the translation of our bones. But if you only for your bones, then who are you? Right? Then people
Right.
like become
Is
more,
it saying like if you're only about the physical and your physical self?
yeah.
Is that what the metaphor? Oh, okay, got it.
It's
Interesting.
physical, or it's that, and also if you're becoming so into yourself that you only care about yourself,
Right.
then who are you? So we're beings that are part of a bigger picture,
Right.
but we are our own self. We have to understand that me and you are here to do something amazing and bring light into wherever you are. So once you can connect to that, and I'll tie it back to where I
No, this is great.
well,
Take your time.
concentration is really of if you can connect understanding that I am who I am and I am here for a reason, meaning I came down here for a reason, right? We weren't just born, we're not just born live dead people. There's a world there, and there's a lot of dark pockets out in the world where God puts us in. This is my belief. Yeah.
Hmm.
God, and this is through Kabbalah, and this is what, the real depth of Torah is teaching us, that there are dark pockets in the world, that God left spaces where He sends us in as agents, as how you want to interpret that, to go and bring the light, and He rewards us for doing that.
Tikkun olam kind of thing.
Tikkun olam, or not just it's that. But I don't think it's just about Tikkun olam that everybody like says, "Oh, we're here to fix the world." Not really here to fix the world.
You're here to project light. It's
We're
not
here
necessarily
to,
about taking something bad. It's about pushing something positive.
yeah, because you can't try to fix. All you can do is
Right.
fix yourself, and as you fix yourself, people around you will fix.
Right.
Will work. So the best work you can do is internal. Don't try to fix everybody. The goal is to fix ourselves by removing our ego, removing. By doing that, the more humble you are, the more light you will spread. Because
Right.
the least you'll be just nice to everybody. You'll be
Right.
like you. It wouldn't be about yourself. It would just become. There's this famous story of one of the big rabbis.
Because life is more than just ourself, and when you operate at that wavelength, you're in tune with something that feels more real.
Yeah.
Like we're just the physical body, but you get a certain sense of fulfillment and happiness when you're focused on everyone and helping others and doing something that constitutes to a bigger picture rather than just focusing on just ourselves.
But ourself means understanding that it's a game me versus me. Most people think to go out in the world, this guy hurt me, that guy hurt me, so I need to go fight with them. And
But the battle is with yourself. Yes, I agree.
What happened to that person did to you is not he hurt you. It's an experience happened for you to learn. And it gives you opportunity to become more merciful. Meaning,
correct.
For example, let me give an example.
And in that perspective makes it much easier to forgive people, because it's like not like what they did to you. It's more like I put myself in that position. This is my experience. What can I learn from it? How do I make myself better? The focus is not on what that person did. The focus is on yourself and how you can make yourself better and learn from it. And that's a competition with yourself. You're always trying to become a better version of yourself. I very much understand that.
It's a version of becoming that, and everything in your way is for you to become better.
Right.
So become more merciful, become more forgiving, become more loving, become more how's it called? Happy for your friends. Like, we're here to resemble the attributes of Hashem, of God.
Right.
And when you really learn and study the depth of the attributes, how God interferes with us humans, you will realize how merciful and how giving and how, not just that, how forgiving He is, and how patient. Patient is a key word. How patient He is with us. And not just that He will send, not just that we mess up and He gives us time, okay, not just that, He will also send you ways and opportunities to come back and make up for what
Mm.
you've done. And that's a very deep level, if you
Right.
understand. And that's an extreme deep level of mercy that we need to try to embody in ourselves. If someone
Love
hurts
it.
us, if someone makes a mistake, someone spills a coffee on you, right? He walks by. Most people, you pass by, they'll be what the, like they'll blow up a coffee. You didn't watch it. Instead of that, you stand up, and say, "I apologize. Sorry. Let me help you." You go out. You help them fix. You go out and help. Try to help your friends fix their mistakes.
Right.
And you can. I mean, there's levels, and I'm not. I'm not going to preach that I'm there,
Right.
not at all. And I'm a human being, and I'm there, and I still have certain people that I can't stand, and I'm working through it. But I realize that these people will put it in there for me to work through it. And I have certain people that, but it's there for me to work.
Right.
Well, at least we need to have that awareness that we do that. It's going to take time. You're not going to become God in one day. That's why we're here for 70, 80 years, whatever.
Right.
So we have
Right.
time, and we don't wait for 50 years because it only gets harder. But if you can go with the mentality, every person I interact with, it's not just life, it's work. Work is a part of life. The Roni is not a separate identity. It's when I'm at the Roni, when I'm working, interacting with my coworkers, interacting with investors, interacting, um, you know, stressful times and money's coming in, money's coming out, not raising, yes raising, new round. All of this, if I take it in as a stress, like, oh, so now I'm identifying if they're only raise more money, raise less money, or we're delayed, or we're doing better than we should be doing in our company. Then I'm always going to be on a constant cycle of yes, no, yes, no.
Right.
Like you're going to be. They say if you live in the physical, you'll be in the physical. Your
Mm.
emotions. I'm trying to more watch it as a movie of what's happening, go through it, learn from it, and improve. And constantly understand that whatever's happening is just a movie. And what am I learning through it? So my
Right.
success is not anymore of what is the company doing or what is my business, whatever bio is doing, is how am I reacting? How am I dealing in stressful times? How am I dealing when someone else's messes up? How am I appreciating the people that help me? And I had a coworker like he did something for me a couple of weeks ago, and I totally didn't forgot to thank him. And he came over to me. He's like, Abe, I worked this, and I want you to like let the team know that I worked on it because he wants to go. And you know what? And I thought first of all, I apologize for not doing that,
Mm.
and I did it. But it happened. So this is now something either I can be like, I don't need to. Who are you? Like I'm this. I
Right.
don't need, like right. The opposite. It gave me an opportunity to say, you know what? I validate you, and I feel. And every person needs recognition, and I should have. But next time, I'll be now more cautious when people help me or someone's helping me do work on a project. I would
Yeah.
let people know that they did it because
Right.
they feel
The
so.
self-reflection is amazing. It's
Yeah,
absolutely great. Yes.
so we
And
need to get to that.
right.
I think we need to be aware and be open-minded and knowing that we're not perfect beings
Right.
and okay, we messed up.
Yeah, and
So
what I love about you, AB, and just by talking to you for what, 40 minutes, 35 minutes, um, it's like, and you and I are similar in the sense that we both came from a very firm background,
well,
but we don't live in the firm world, right? I mean, I can't speak for you, but I'm saying, you're doing things that a typical person who grows in the firm world doesn't do, but you still take all the good stuff. You still have the heart of someone who grew up in the yeshiva world. You still think and you have good values, and you translate those values, at least to the best that you can, and you're conscious of it, into a very different world. And I think that might be a little secret of a part of your success at the very least, is that you've taken the beauty from a completely different world and you've kind of injected it in a whole other one.
yeah, so I know we're going over time, but I think it's an important conversation to have
No,
because
no, it's
it's
by all
it's
means.
not so it's not that I took my values from growing up and my values from growing up for me the opposite. I was very disappointed in what I saw in certain people that were supposed to be very religious
I agree, but there's still very good things that you got from your
There's a, there's
childhood.
a, there's
A
a
lot
lot.
of very good things.
Nothing what I'm talking to right now, not that I didn't learn, a lot of the growth that only now that I'm able to recognize and see the good parts. So I left, not left, I changed everything because I didn't want to be that because I saw a lot of people super religious. They use religion to empower themselves and make, like
Yeah,
you see them
yeah.
behind the doors. They were like, I'm like, this is fake. Like, I don't
Trust
want
me, I know.
I don't want to be that. So for years, like I moved to Miami, but when I moved to Miami, I actually met a few good people, a community here that were like, they weren't. I mean, they did the stuff, but they were very, they were good people. I would say like they weren't trying to oversell them. They weren't like super like wearing the hat and the jackets,
Mm,
but they were successful people, business people, Miami Beach. But they were serious about their values and serious about and in a very way. And there I saw like so that's why I didn't completely go off completely. So I was always like hanging on. I was like partying this and that, but like back and forth. So I was always back. I was in shul. I was like, I would be davening, but then I would go smoke weed and have a good time. But
right.
like I wasn't, but I was also married, so I was limited. I wasn't, thank God, I was married. So, I didn't do. I was restricted with a lot, so that was good. But no, I wasn't. I was not into it. And for years, I was like, I was just doing because I was close with the people and I was friends and I didn't want to hurt them. I did like it. There was something in me that wanted it, but like I just didn't know how to relate to it, right?
Mm,
I had just a weird relationship with it. I
okay.
loved it, like you'll see me in prayer, I would love to sing and I would get into it, but then I would, just then I would be all depressed and like addicted to like gambling and to everything, right?
Right.
So it was like a
So,
very,
turbulent, up and down. So the
yeah,
times that you really connected, and there are times that you felt
I
very
really, really
distant.
connect. I know there was something in there. I enjoyed it, but not ever like putting to like most of the things like doing it for what? What is this all about? Why am I
Right.
doing? What do I need to put fill in and
But you did manage to take some good out of it, and you did manage to take some of that and inject it in your life today. I can only see it, you know?
yeah. So that was originally. So getting to getting to the stuff. So a couple of months ago, it's like 7, 8 months ago, after I had 2 kids, I had. So whatever, I had like ups and downs, wild with work,
Mm,
learning, stressful, up, down, financial, good, bad. What we perceive good and bad now, I see that everything needed to happen. But we were gonna have a third kid. My wife was pregnant. A third kid at that time, I was like completely the lowest in my spiritual sense. Like for months, I didn't, put tefillin in or like I
mm.
was completely out. Like I just didn't want like anything. It was like, and I got back into my addiction like very bad. And
Sorry to hear that.
during like so that was 2 weeks. That was like my wife was pregnant and like she was due like it was like 3 weeks before, 4 weeks, like a month, and I'm like I'm lost. I don't know if I'm ready for this another kid, and like I was
Right.
just not there, not for my wife, and sadly, like I apologize that she went through it, but I was just not there. I was just so like I felt stuck in life. I'm like, what am I doing? Like I don't want this, I don't want that. Like I was just I didn't know what, but there was something in me saying me not this, but yes what, right? I didn't
Right.
know what because I didn't want that. I didn't want this. I didn't want the addiction, but I didn't want the super. So I never could have. So I was stuck and I needed to do something. So my friend called me. My friend that did a lot of healing stuff called me. Hey, try ayahuasca, do psychedelics. I'm like, listen, I'm in this place where like I'll try anything. Just give me. I'll do anything. I really want
Right.
to have this kid, but I just not ready. I don't know how to do it. Like, so, so I did it. One of, for me, it was like I prepared. I actually took it serious because like I really wanted to change. I'm like, I started learning, listen to podcasts, people that did it, and see their life changing. Now, I started writing down, taking, and actually starting to prepare. Like, okay, this could be something. There's something to it. I've never experienced it, but I did it. I had some wild experience. I was reborn, basically. I was able to see myself as like my
You did
actual.
this in Miami, right?
I did in Miami, yeah. It was actually to see myself like visually my experience. I was able to see like my soul, my light coming in, being born, going through my
So
whole life.
ayahuasca is one of the more intense ones from what
It's the
I
most
hear.
intense.
The
I've
most
never done
intense.
anything else psychedelics. It's my first psychedelics I've ever done. So it was like my first time touching psychedelics. I've done other stuff,
Wow.
well, like weed, but psychedelics was this was my first time doing it. But I really went with a good intention. Like the week before, I took this serious because like I knew like I have one shot. Like if this is not working, like I'm gonna be cooked for life. I don't know. That's what I at that point.
You were like anything. You'll try anything at this point.
Yeah,
From
but
what I hear.
as I was learning, I was prepared. Like, but I actually wanted it to work. Like it was like I want this to work.
Right.
So I took it serious, and it did work. I was just said like
Amazing.
that's a 5 hour conversation podcast, but to summarize, basically, I was able to see myself, understand my uniqueness, my talent, that I'm a lot more than just my 6'4" and all these different things. My goal was to be a billionaire when I was 20. Like, and then I realized that I'm already a billionaire. I have a million things. I just have life, being
You're
grateful.
already a billionaire. I like that.
Yeah, like we are billionaires. Like we're walking billionaires without seeing it.
The fact that we're alive and
In fact, we're
we have a
alive, we're healthy, we have friends, and
yeah. I
we have
agree.
our happiness should come from that and not reliant. That's what was my happiness should come that I am a special, like I'm a light that I have a potential to do something really great in this world. And what it showed me a lot of different things, a lot of like things that were blocking me, and
Right.
different relationships and stuff that I had to work on and see my whole childhood and really see like what actually happened in certain like it was a great like the puzzle just clicked.
Right.
Finally able to like click. This is why I'm struggling with this. This is what I was missing. And it gave me like a list of a million things that I had to do. But the main thing, it gave me this idea that I'm a soul, or a real soul actually felt that experience it. You can't relate that to people that didn't experience it. But I'm a soul into a body, and the body's trying to con like I was stuck for the past 24 years into my physical, and I did zero. I had zero understanding of what my spiritual needs were. And even the Torah davening, that I didn't know what they were. I didn't understand it, but ayahuasca gave me that there is something to it, and I need
Mm.
to learn about it. Right?
Gave you
So
a touch of something bigger. Right.
yeah. So this was after like I did it 2 journeys. It's been a lot of kids, wife, life, friends. How to view all the person. Like I realized that if I'm so special, it must be every person in this room that was with me has also something special. I'm not the
Right.
only like so like we're all souls and we're all like and we have to
Right.
tap into that. So like I started becoming I wasn't afraid anymore of people, so I didn't so I stopped looking at people as
Amazing.
bodies. I'm like, I want to get to know you more. More of like what's your uniqueness? Like I know
It
what
sounds
I
like you just became a lot more hypersensitive to the real value that was around you, both inside and around, and those around you.
yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of
Amazing.
clarity. And then 2 weeks later when my wife were supposed to have we're gonna have the baby. I was so excited for the baby. It's the first time I was like, oh my God,
Mm.
like this is uh the kid I understand like I'm getting a new soul that I'm here to
Right.
like give it the space, like I'm gonna be curious, like what is this kid gonna grow like? Instead of being like most parents are like, okay, this kid I want him to be this, they have already plans. I'm like, no, God is giving me a soul. He's giving me the opportunity to like work on myself in order to like teach the soul, give them values and support their journey. They're gonna have an interesting, like just like I like they're gonna have an interesting ride in this world. And like,
Right.
what am I gonna? So I was very in that space where I was super excited. Like for 2 weeks, I was preparing and helping for everything, super focused. Like my ADA, I lost my everything. I had ADHD out the window. It's like I was just great and everything. My relationships and but then my wife went into labor. During labor, whatever complications happened, a uterus ripped open, baby
Mm.
died, she almost died. Whatever. It was a very wild
Sorry to hear
experience.
that. That sounds,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I was holding like I had a very powerful experience where, during like my wife was in surgery, they were trying to like they brought out the baby. She was full baby, like she was 9 months. She was overdue, right?
Mm.
So, I was holding her for like 2.5 hours. And that's like my whole thing that I learned in ayahuasca about soul and body. there, instead of just seeing it in like my journey, I'm holding like this was like a physical like this is it. Like here you have a body that's not alive, but like you feel the soul. Like I felt something so much bigger. I'm like,
Hmm.
wow. And I was able to feel myself, and I had some people in the room that are close to me that also had some struggles in their life, and it was a very powerful story. And I was, thank God, in the darkest moment, I was able to see that God was there with me. And even though painfully on my physical, it took a lot of toll for the next couple of months after,
Of
um,
course, I
like,
can only imagine.
like whatever, everything, like was crazy. Like everybody have hundreds of people messaging, and I'm like going this deep, like writings of things that I'm realizing in my life, and like, oh my head, I was just completely not even deep, and I had panic attacks and this, but thank God because I did ayahuasca 2 weeks before. I knew how to deal. Like I was introduced to a lot of like breath work and
Hmm.
different type of healing modalities to how to deal to relax the body. So that was a great, like as they say in Hebrew, they say "refia before the makkah." It's like I got the I got the healing before the
For the
pain, right?
blow. Yeah.
Before the blow, so whatever. So it was great, but then I was like was tapped in completely. So for 2 weeks I was just like busy with what happened, right? Like everything.
Right.
But after that, I was introduced to a book randomly. I was in shul, like on Yom Tov, and someone walked in. What would you do if you weren't afraid? I open up the book, and it starts this lady, Israeli girl, Israeli lady, great book actually. I would recommend it. That girl that went through a very tough life, traumas and stuff, and how she got free through learning Hasidut and the deep Torah, like really understanding like Kabbalah and all this stuff. How she was able to get out and like connect with that and build her career and she was going through all the different stories in her life and how all these different I'm like what is this stuff like she's talking about she opened my mind that there's something like something that they didn't teach me when I was in school they taught
Hmm.
Gemara and everything was great but they never spoke to me I never like would learn more than 5 minutes but
Right.
this thing like I like this and she was talking about the soul and understanding like these are things I experienced this she started talking about this I'm like I know this is true because I felt like what she was saying and what like this is real. Like
Right.
I know it. Like this is not like I learned it. No, I felt it, and what I was reading. This is so I started reading book after book about about myself and about understanding how Hashem operates, about good and about Emunah and about
Svarim, like
not a Sephardi, no, Ashkenaz.
no, no, Svarim, like actual, like, or what kind of books?
No, just books of people's experiences
I
and
see.
primarily like people like Balchuvas or people that
Got it. Got it.
like
Got it.
what
Got
got
it.
them like a book about like one of the books is it's called a book about you and it's basically breaking you down and it was a great book for me. I never finished a book in my life, let's be real. Like these books I started reading books like crazy about my soul, about understanding what my soul is, what is my body, what's the connection, the mind, everything, like
Hmm.
just explaining in deep Torah, like this is Torah that's based off the books, right? So learning this, and I had wild experiences. Like everything that I was learning somehow actually happened into my life. Like things came up. Like,
Hmm.
and this was like for 3 months. I was going, learning, and just going more. Like I'm excited. Like I'm getting, but I didn't. And then I started learning Pirkei Avos every morning,
Oh,
for my
that's
baby.
the good stuff.
Yeah. So all these books were like referencing Pirkei Avos. I'm like, what is this thing? Like I opened like
Pekavis is beautiful Jewish philosophy. Honestly, it's good stuff.
yeah. So
It's
I
short, it's simple, and it's very pleasant. Like it, you
It's
know.
basically everything you hear in all the courses, just
Right.
2,000 years old.
Right. Right. Exactly. That's true.
It's
Yeah. Yeah.
basically, but we just don't know how to like whatever. Like,
It's
we
hard.
actually
Sometimes you can think you understand it, but you don't because it's got depth. I agree.
yeah, it's real. Everything is that.
Yeah. AB.
Them and real Judaism is there's no superficial stuff.
Right. It's just layers of abstraction
That
built on
and that
abstraction,
and that.
metaphors, and yeah.
The deeper
Um,
you go, the more you will enjoy the. Because now
yeah.
I'm not putting tefillin anymore because I'm putting
And you
tefillin.
relearn it, and it's different. It's deeper.
When
And you
you
relearn it again, and it's
not
deeper.
not that you learn the halachas. You learn what's happening when I'm putting them.
Right.
When you know, like, well, one of the things I've learned in Hebrew, the there's there's the word tam. Tam has two meanings. It can mean flavor, right? You flavor the food, and
Yeah.
it can mean reason,
Mm.
right? So when you have reason, basically, you
You have
will have
flavor.
flavor. So
Mm.
it's a mixture of learning the deep reason, then what you will do, you
It's
will have
appreciation.
flavor.
Yeah.
And that, what would that do? Then you will have enjoyment. Because
Mm.
when you work, you enjoy working because it pays you bills. You have reason to work, right?
Right.
So you enjoy doing it most of the time,
Right.
or
Right.
not, right? Hopefully, we got to pray.
Hopefully, most of us do, including myself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
AB.
but if
Yeah.
you have reason, deep reason on why you do it, okay, now I'm praying. What do these words mean? What is this? And I started on this journey of like slowly, even now, like I'm not praying the whole thing. I'm like learning that, like what I'm saying, what's happening when I'm saying it. What does it feel? And what's when I learned about the deep meditations that prayer is not just prayer, it's a meditation. It's
Mm.
connecting you to higher consciousness and through the words and what you're saying. And if you really understand what you're saying in depth, you can connect to higher, you just become, your conscious level gets a lot higher. And through these words, through the technology of the alphabet and the words and everything, it would elevate you and help you, get it to a higher place. Of course, it won't perfect you because you have to do a lot of work, but through that, it will get you into higher places. You'll see things. Whatever. This is just like things that are, and I'm
Yeah.
still learning. I'm still
No,
like,
no, it's okay. We can do this for hours. AB, you're a very interesting person to talk to, 100%.
okay.
Yeah, we're also a little bit overdue.
It's okay. But we can
So
do it another time. If someone wants to
yeah,
talk.
we definitely should do this another time.
If we get more requests, we can go into it. But let's finish off. Life is fun, and just use everything for good. See everything good. Put on good glasses, and
And
you'll
it's
just
an
have a fun.
endless journey of growth.
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna
should
finish
always look and
2 minute
introspect.
story.
Sorry?
I just want to finish with this 2 minute story. So,
Yeah,
like,
of course. Go ahead. Go ahead.
so I think I told it to you earlier, maybe before, but there's the guys driving from LA to San Francisco. Okay, it's one of the nicest. They say the scenery is it's one of the nicest road trips you can do.
Do you know how weird this is?
Well,
I just interviewed someone 2 hours ago, and they told me the exact same words verbatim. They go, I took a trip from LA to San Francisco, and it's one of the nicest views ever. It's just literally verbatim what you just told me. I was just told in
okay,
an interview. It doesn't matter, but that's just kind of weird.
okay. So
Feel like I'm
basically,
in the Matrix for a second.
yeah. So he goes there. He comes to his friend, and the friend is asking him, "How was your ride?" Right? And he tells him, "You don't even understand. This was the worst trip I've ever done in my life. I don't want to do this again. I'm like, it's just so bad." He's like, "What happened? Like, this is everybody that comes to me tells me this is the nicest. This is the nicest. This is the best trip that I ever
Did
had."
he say the music wasn't good?
Yeah. So I think I told you the story before.
No, the guy who I interviewed an hour ago told me this story. That is
Maybe I-
crazy.
Okay. So basically,
And he's not Jewish. I don't know where this is going. This is crazy.
okay, interesting. So basically, yeah. So the guy asked him, like, what happened?" He says, "You don't understand. Music was terrible. The
Oh,
music,
yes.
the
Okay, I remember now.
music, the music that was playing on the radio was bad. So that was in my head, and I couldn't focus, and I couldn't enjoy." So his friend asked him, "You idiot! Why don't you change the music, right?"
Right.
And he would have the. So it's life. Change the music, you'll have a good ride. Life is
Right. It's
beautiful.
the mindset. It's like, you can go through life either seeing all the beauty and the amazing and the car ride to San Francisco and all the views and the sunset, or you can be like, "Oh, the music wasn't good." Right?
Yeah,
And the difference between you having an amazing ride and having a horrible ride is all up in here.
yeah.
I
It's a
very
lot
much
more.
agree with you, AB.
But yeah, Michael, thank you.
Thank you for your time, AB. It was an
Oh, this
honest
is
pleasure,
good.
and we definitely should do this again.
Hopefully, if we get more requests. But yeah, okay.